Welcome. Nice to be here with you. This is my first time addressing most of you. My name is Mehir Baba. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to be with you. I am tonight's mystery guest. And I hope you will not be disappointed with what I have to share with you. I think you will not. All of us who come through and speak to you in this way are sharing primarily our own selves, our own presence, our own vibrational energies. Well, then, of course, we must come up with some sort of topic to share with you, so you will not become too bored. Something to occupy your minds and your understanding while we share the love of our hearts. So please relax and make yourselves comfortable. I would like to speak tonight about the several aspects of spiritual growth, liberation and acceptance, going beyond a duality. I think I will call my talk Going Beyond. Has a nice ring to it. So you are all here because you are involved with your spiritual paths. You are all here because you have a longing and an internal desire to experience the Creator. In whatever way you refer to that energy, whether you call it God or higher self, whether you refer to it as your light body or simply as a oneness, it is essentially the same desire and the same drive which bring you to this type of events to open yourselves. So you have been involving yourselves, some of you for many years, with spiritual growth, with opening yourselves to your deepest potential, to evolution of consciousness. And I think we have a very diverse group here this evening, as usual. Many different paths and many different experiences have converged upon this particular moment. And I would like to speak with you about this spiritual path that you are all on, and about going beyond, going all the way in your conscious awareness, all the way to liberation. As you begin your path, you may start from a point of a realization that certain feelings feel good to you and certain feelings do not feel good to you. You may say that there is a right way to feel and a wrong way. You may say that there is good and evil and you are choosing to follow the path of good. You may say that there is light and darkness and you are choosing to give yourself to the light. Many different ways of labeling the duality of human experience. And this duality serves you. It serves you in your present situation, in your present consciousness. And yet I am here to tell you this evening that your point of completion, the point that you are leaning towards in your growth, is beyond all such duality. The point where you become one with the Creator in consciousness is the point wherein you have transcended all duality and no longer do rights and wrongs, lights and darknesses have an effect upon your consciousness. And no longer do you view the world with your current set of beliefs and understandings. At current, most of you have quite a sophisticatedly developed sense of spiritual paths, let me say. And you know, for the most part, what is best for you. I will not tamper with this. But I would like to bring out the point that even in your current level of sophistication, you are still dwelling in a state somewhat of duality. You are still tending to view a spiritual path as a choosing light over darkness, or escaping darkness into the light, etc. Sort of consciousness, this sort of awareness. Most of your teachers who come through and speak to you, either in your own messages or in channelings or in other literature, will use this very foundation of duality as the ground upon which to instruct you and to teach you, acting as if they also believe in dualities. In fact, none of us believe in dualities. We are using this as your field of experience, in your frame of reference. And tonight I am allowed to come through and speak about going beyond this into direct oneness with the Creator, which is attainable, which is your goal, which is in fact your present condition. You see, you are all experiencing God. You are experiencing the oneness. You are not perceiving it as such totally, yet you are, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter who you speak to, of what subject, no matter what actions you indulge in, you cannot escape this ultimate reality, this ultimate condition. The light of God, the energy of God is everywhere, or else it would not be God. So you see your situation as you are indwelling within an experience of oneness, attempting through the longing of your hearts to experience this oneness, yet still somewhat involved with the dualities of this is good and this is not good, this sort of thing. While you have to go through these levels of consciousness, obviously it does you very little good to sit back and say to yourself, I am one with God, and consider your spiritual path complete. You may try this and see if it is effective. I think there is more work to be done. So you are dwelling within duality. Know this in your spiritual life. Know that you are, even though you are immersed in the God experience, one with it, know that you are yet to unwind your beliefs and your programmings and your experiences to come to the point of actual emergence with your consciousness to the fact that you know, to the actual experience that you know you are one, and you have that experience continually. This is your goal. This is your liberation. The reason that I am speaking of this evening is to give you a little assistance in transcending or going beyond your beliefs, even your beliefs about spirituality. Let me say that I am here to give you a little boost up through the branches of the tree that you are climbing to where your head sticks up a little bit into the sky and you can see all around. Most of you are still climbing the tree. You are finding the proper branch to grab a hold of, and when you find that proper branch, you feel this is good, this is a spiritual, this is light. And if you grab the wrong branch and fall a little bit, you say that was bad. So in effect, what you are doing is quite appropriate. Yet, when you have achieved the ultimate heights of your tree, there will come a point where you can stick your head up through the branches and see the sky as it truly is, not divided by patterns of consciousness, by the leaves and the branches that you are enmeshed in at this point. And even now you feel from time to time a clear ray of that divine presence, and you know that experience of going beyond. And this is what keeps you climbing your tree and keeps you seeking for the correct branch to grab onto, that which will support your weight, that which will allow you to rise a little bit higher in your awareness. So what can you do to assist yourself to go beyond? What can you do to expedite matters, knowing that you are still in your belief patterns about a spiritual life, knowing that you still feel aversion to certain experiences and attraction to others? You still have a desire. You have a desire to be one with God, which is ultimately the purest desire. You have other desires to contend with. And all of these desires are what are tending to create an experience of duality in your lives. How can you go beyond desire? How can you go beyond to a state of total satisfaction in this moment? Total satisfaction that is not dependent upon what you are particularly feeling as an individual ego or physical form. Liberation is going beyond this. Even while you are in the body form, experiencing all of the drawbacks of third-dimensional reality, of which I need not enumerate to you, it is possible to go beyond the attachment to this, beyond the need to create good and evil, beyond the need to create for yourself any more dualities. I would say it is important to begin with acceptance. Even though acceptance is in itself somewhat of a dual experience, there is the opposite of acceptance, and that is rejection. You still tend to accept certain experiences and attempt to reject others. But I will say acceptance in a sense of allowing yourself to be who you are in this moment, just as you are, without self-criticism, without labeling yourself as being in a spiritual experience or not. You see, you have all categorized yourselves quite effectively and continue to do so, even as you grow spiritually. You label your experiences, you categorize and often judge yourself. If you are not feeling particularly inspired or connected, a certain day you might view yourself more negatively. I say it is important for you to begin to allow yourself to be just as you are and know that you are not separate. Even though you may have the experience of separation on a certain level, you can begin to pierce this veil of illusion and have the experience of that clarity. So I would say, as a practical step for each of you, you are so involved in your growth, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. To accept is to pull back a little bit from your own ego identification with your experience in the moment, and to merely allow yourself to be and to feel that which you are feeling. Allow yourselves to experience fully your life as it is manifesting in any given moment. In this given moment, it is sort of an aspect of self-love. Self-love is involved with loving yourself right where you are now, no matter what you feel about yourselves or what your experience is. It is allowing yourself to be in the experience of self-love, regardless of your judgments and criticisms. So it is somewhat like loving yourself. Acceptance. And in your practice, in your meditations, how often do you get into the situation where you are labeling your experience or judging it, saying this meditation was not very good, this meditation was excellent? I know that this is a common practice. It is natural to do this, and yet it is not an indication that you are any farther or any closer to oneness, to liberation. In fact, you will attain to a point where you are no longer attached to any particular experience, and at that time you will not to be so involved in your highs and lows. You will transcend the highs and lows and simply be, and in that state of being, of course, there is an incredible amount of bliss and oneness. In fact, only in that state of liberation can you achieve the maximum experience that is possible in the human form. So what am I telling you this evening? Well, actually, I came here to confuse you. I think I am telling you to relax and enjoy yourselves. Enjoy yourself as a manifestation of that oneness, of that Creator God. And try to cultivate an awareness within your hearts, within your consciousness, of that oneness at all times. Not merely when you are having a blissful meditation experience. And God also comes to you in the form of pain. He comes to you in the form of your thoughts of confusion. He comes to you in the form of physical ailments and illnesses. He comes to you in the form of carpets and trees, telephone answering machines. Only when you are experiencing God in everything, at all times, will you be free. Or let me say, will you know that you are free? What is the most profound teaching? I think the most profound teaching is silence. The silence transcends all of your ideas. It simply is. And somehow that silence is filled with the presence and the oneness and the experience that we desire. So it is also for you, as part of your goal in your search to go beyond duality, to connect with that silence, connect with the oneness. Grand Central Station. Someday we will perfect the art of coming through in channelings to your answering machines. And you can get your messages directly off the wire. You can say, I am unconscious right now, but if you will leave a message, when I return to consciousness, hopefully I will answer it. It is good to hear your laughter. There is an old saying, don't worry, be happy. This is my most famous saying. And they have made a hit record of it. It just goes to show you that good things never go out of style. And truth is truth, no matter what the format. You might say that this is your ultimate response to my discussion this evening, to my presentation about the fact that you are somewhat enmeshed in duality, and yet longing for that non-dual experience of oneness. What can you do about it? Don't worry and be happy is a very good place to start. You need to connect with silence. You need to connect with meditation for the drive that you are feeling to meditate and to, let me say, evolve yourself is a part of the process. I am only saying that when you have evolved yourselves, you will go beyond all of these current beliefs you have formulated, so don't take them so seriously. Allow for more miracles in your experience. Do not feel that if you have not meditated, say you did not meditate this morning as is your usual custom, you do not need to necessarily have a bad day or suffer all day because you did not meditate. How many of you have had this programming in your lives, in your spiritual path, and you can make yourselves all quite miserable if you desire. But know that it is a little bit more fluid than that, that your spiritual practice is not intended to be something that you impose upon your sense of freedom. It is something which is designed to accentuate your experience of freedom. In other words, feel free to meditate spontaneously or not. If you liberate yourselves from the discipline aspect, perhaps you will find yourselves meditating even more. For you will not feel that tendency to rebel against your discipline. You will find it quite natural, the drive within you to connect. It is very pronounced and very profound at this time. All of the beings who are here on this planet are experiencing it. Some are manifesting it in strange ways. Perhaps they will go out and get drunk, but they are experiencing the same inner drive for peace and satisfaction that you are. I commend you on your choice to meditate rather than getting drunk. You can get very drunk on meditation. You can and you will. You see, God has made it He has made it so that His presence feels very intoxicating to you. And this is somewhat that which draws you into that experience. It is simply that desire to feel the presence and the intoxication and the bliss of that loving experience of God that pulls you forward in the path. That pulls you towards reading various literatures, various channeled material, various teachers, towards channeling yourselves or listening to channeling. All of this is a direct result of the fact that God chose to make himself feel blissful, to feel satisfying, to feel like that which you have longed for, to feel like your source. In fact, it is your source. In fact, you are one with it right now. Beyond all of your strategies to enlighten yourselves, you are one with God right now. And still there is the need to meditate and to evolve yourself. Evolve yourself to the point where you have no need to evolve yourself, where you have transcended this evolution. And then you can laugh at all of your strategies and all of your plans and all of your projections about what it would feel like to be enlightened, about what it would feel like to be liberated. I assure you it feels quite ordinary at times. At other times it feels quite blissful. It is a very fluid experience. So I would not give yourself to labeling or to projecting too strongly about that which you are intending to experience. I would rather give yourself to moment conscious awareness of your God presence. Your own breath that is flowing through you is an excellent place to focus. And simply accept that which comes to you as perfect. Accept that experience which comes to you as God's face in disguise, coming to teach you, coming to be your guru, and make the world your guru. Make every experience, every sensation, a manifestation of the God presence that it already is. Accept it all. Try to accept it all with equanimity. A little less passion, a little less desire, a little less desiring one experience over another. A little more simplicity. This will open the door to that which you are attempting to experience. This will open the door to that bliss and that light that you are longing to merge with. It is there. In your meditations you experience it. And the more you can focus upon it, the more you will be, in effect, cutting through the duality, cutting through pleasure and pain, good and evil, judgments, self-criticisms. It is very simple. It is simply being with that which already is within you. Meditation is a tool that you use to, let me say, accomplish the obvious, or recreate that which has all never been uncreated. So use meditation to delve and to go beyond limitation. Do not use it to whip yourselves into a frenzy. Do not use it as a means of judging your own worthiness. Do not use it as anything other than it was intended to be used. Simply as a way and means to cut through the mental and emotional bondage of human life to have a direct peek through the branches at the sky above. When you sit in meditation, it is like sitting in your tree in a particular spot where there is a clear ray of light coming through right into your heart, or right onto your head, and simply basking in that, knowing that perhaps you have some more climbing to do before you can fully experience the light of the sun. Yet you can take a rest, take some time to experience and to merge with that ray of the sun. You see, when you have attained to your liberation, you will experience life as a party. You will experience life as a game, and that you yourself are one of the players of the game. No separation in consciousness exists between you and any other player in the game. You will look into the eyes of those around you and see yourself. You will see yourself as God. And you will simply be floating down the river of existence, emanating the love and presence of the Father, Mother, God, as you have referred to that. And in your emanation, you will become a teacher. In my current status, I have been active as a teacher of teachers. And I teach them the same way that I taught my students when I was in physical form. I sit and in silence, I radiate my presence and my love, which is the same as the love of the Father. I allow the Father's energy to be focused through my particular manifestation and to radiate. This is my teaching. You might think it would get boring, but it never does. So you yourself, as I have, can make an ally of silence. You can merge into the silence in your meditations and gently allow yourself to drop all of your wants and desires and needs for a few moments and simply be and feel what you feel and know that what you feel is God. And that feeling will grow and it will consume you. It will, in fact, annihilate you. At least that portion of you which has been keeping you in the dark. That portion of you which has kept you in the belief in separation. So, I think Saint Germain is on the line. He will have to leave a message. We are doing important work here. So, I open the floor to your questions. Let me know what you are worrying about lately.
I have a question about twin flames. Would you speak some about twin flames? And I'm asking because I'm personally interested to know if my own is on this planet or if within my lifetime I'll have a chance to meet this person.
I think there is a very good chance that you will meet this person in your lifetime, since you are not going to die. This particular lifetime, you are not going to die.
Okay.
Or let me say, it is my hope you will choose not to. As far as twin flames go, that is a very popular subject. You have a twin flame. You have a being which at one time was merged with you in upon your creation, let us say, upon the early stages of your incarnational experience. And it is a longing of your heart to reconnect with this being. It feels like a completion of sorts. Let me say that the goal of human life is not to connect with your twin flame. The goal of human life is to experience enlightenment and liberation. And yet on the path to enlightenment and liberation, you will undoubtedly connect with your twin flame. Some of your twin flames are not in the physical at this time, and you will meet them upon your ascension. Or perhaps if you are so unfortunate as to experience death, and not ego death, physical death. It is my hope you will all experience ego death. So I would say for you, the most direct path towards connecting with this being that you will meet, and you will meet consciously, let me say. I will not tell you if they are here or there. I will not make such distinctions. You see, to me there are no such distinctions. You will have some processing to go through before the time that you connect with this person. You have some self-love to graduate to. Until you have a sufficient self-love, you will not attract the twin flame essence. In effect, you must get to the point where you don't need him, and then he will be there. It is something like a fringe benefit of enlightenment. And yet it is a very strong desire, so I understand your experience. I would say it is possible that they are in the human form, but more likely that you will not connect with them until your ascension. But if you apply yourself to the ascension path, it need not be long.
I have a question. My daughter wants to know if my husband and I are babysitting with her child and we ascend, how will you handle her child? She doesn't want him to go in the first ascension. She wants him to go with her on the second one. She lives in a different town.
That is a tricky question. Let me say that there are forces at work in your lives, in all of your lives, that direct the actions and the experiences that you are in such a way as to somewhat manipulate time and space to a certain degree to make sure that you are in the right place at the right time. If there is an appointment with destiny, I would say this ascension is definitely in that category. It is your appointment with your destiny. So I would say that it is not something you need to be worried about. It is highly unlikely that the situation will present itself. If this child is with you at this time, then it is intended for that child to be with you at that time. And I think there is a level of attachment there with the mother which will need to be addressed if the child does ascend prior. So I would say you may tell her it is highly unlikely that the child would be with you at that time. And if she is, if the child is with you, then it was intended to be, and she can deal with that at that time.
Yeah, Baba, I have two friends in Portland, Oregon, who I sent an introduction to Ascension tape that Jesus gave to us. And I thought I'd ask you if they are intended to be first wave ascendants, and also about their child. Susan has a son who's 7, and if it's appropriate to give the information to them at this time.
Now you are asking me a question concerning their choice. It is up to them. If they choose to be, they can apply themselves and open to this, and I would say it is highly likely that they could be among the first wave. It is not for me to choose for them. It is for them to choose. And if they would choose to do so, their child will automatically accompany them, as you know. So it is not that there is an intent that there are selected numbers of human beings who are, let me say, labeled as first wave ascenders. This is not the way it works. You are creator gods and goddesses, and it is your choice what you desire to experience. It has been all along, but especially with regards to ascension.